And that's going to be something special. We have now a movement that nobody's ever seen before in this country. Never happened. You know, they've had movements where somebody came in and won a state, or did well with a state, or came in second in Iowa, and they make the history books. But this is one where Bill O'Reilly said, it's the single greatest political phenomena he's ever seen. That's pretty good. Where many other of the pundits have said the same exact thing. And the way I look at it is a little bit differently. If I didn't think we were going to win, or if I knew I wasn't going to win, and I know we are going to win, I wouldn't even waste my time, because if we don't go all the way, you know, I got a call from a big reporter. Said, congratulations, Mr. Trump. What you've done has never been done before. I said, what have I done? What have I done? He said, nobody's ever done what we've done. It's a movement. It's an incredible movement. He said, nobody's done it before. I said, what have I done? I've done nothing. Because unless we win all the way, it's like a waste of time. It's a waste of money. It's a tremendous waste of energy. I mean, this takes energy. Okay? I just left some great people in a very good other place in Iowa, right? You saw that. And we had a good time, and we had the same kind of a crowd. I mean, it's an amazing thing. And people come out, and the only problem we have is the place, as big as this room is, the places aren't even big enough. And you have a lot of people outside still pouring in. Because they really want, you know, when I was at the convention, and I think, by the way, I think the people of Cleveland, they did an incredible job 2 weeks ago. And I think, by the way, my wife and children did an incredible job. It was beautiful to see. It was beautiful to see. So what we're now looking at, and tonight I'll go home, I guess, and watch. I guess. Are we going to watch tonight? I don't know. So let's do this. On November 8th, let's just win. That's the best. All right? November. So a lot of things have happened, and a lot of things are being said. And I watched last night, and boy, do you need a thick skin. How would you like to be me watching that garbage? Man, I mean, I was hit by every side. And I told the story just a little while ago. I wanted to hit back. I was going to hit back. I was going to say, take each one on. I know every one of them. I was going to take each one on. A friend of mine who's a governor, great guy, great politician, but a great guy. I said, you know, they said so many things about me, most of which, not all of it, a little bit of truth there, I guess, but most of which is a lie. I said, I'm going to hit this one, I'm going to hit that one. And they said, friend, he said, Donald, don't bother, nobody cares, don't bother. He said, you only have one person that you want to go after, and that's crooked Hillary Clinton. And I said to him, I said, yeah, but they said things that were terrible, and I don't like it. And they have an audience, and I don't like it. And they lied. They told so many different lies. And I said, look, I have to, for instance, as an example. I was going to say, I was going to say friend or foe. It turns out to be a friend. Turned out to be a friend. Friend or foe. I always point, I say friend or foe. But some of our friends are a little bit noisy, right? But that's good. Great. It's so good. It's so good. Do we have a great country? But we're going to make it greater than ever before. We're going to make it safe.
We're going to build up our military. It's depleted. We're going to take care of our great veterans. We're going to repeal and replace Obamacare. We are going to save our Second Amendment, which is under siege. We're going to get rid of Common Core, a disaster, and we're going to bring education locally. And you know what? We're going to strengthen up our borders. We're going to do so many things. We're going to make great trade deals. You know, one of the reasons I got elected, because everybody talked about Indiana. First of all, Mike Pence is doing a great job. Great guy. As soon as I met him, I felt good about him. I felt really good about him. But I went to Indiana, and they had an air conditioning company. You know who it is, right? Carrier. And they announced, he says Oreo. Well, that too, right? But what happens is but it's only them. I mean, look, I could talk about 1,000 companies. They're leaving our country. They're moving to Mexico. They're leaving our country. They're going to other places. We're not going to let it happen any longer. They're firing their employees. Then they make their product. They sell it across the border, which, by the way, will now be a very strong border. They sell it across the border. They sell it to the same place that they left. And nobody benefits, I will tell you, in this country. We end up with unemployment. We end up with no taxes. Mexico gets our business, all right? Oh, we're going to build the wall. We're going to build the wall. We're going to build the wall. And it'll be a big wall. It'll be a beautiful wall. It'll be a wall that works. It'll be, you know, I don't know if you saw, you probably did, but I got 16,500 Border Patrol agents endorse me recently. First time in their history that they've ever endorsed a presidential candidate. And I have to tell you, their job is much easier having it the way. Right now, they just stand there and people walk right through, right? With me, they have to work. They got to say, sorry, folks, that's enough, we're not going to do this. But they endorsed me. And I asked them when they called, they were such great people. I've known them because I've been there. I went to Laredo. I went to a lot of places that people wouldn't sort of expect to see. And it can be a little bit rough. But these are great people. These are tough people, too. And they're great Americans. They love our country. And what happens is, I said, very nicely, I said, how important is the wall? They said, Mr. Trump, you have no idea how important the wall is. It's a tool that we absolutely need. We've got to stop the drugs from pouring in. We've got to stop people from coming in illegally. Now, with that being said, all of us, with that being said, we have people coming into our country. We want them to come into our country, but they have to come in legally. They have to come in legally. We want them to come in. Now, if you know what's going on, you saw where this beloved priest in France, his throat was cut and killed instantaneously, and he was loved. He was loved. And he was killed in France. You saw what happened a week before that. You saw what happened a week before that. You saw what happens in Germany. You see what's going on. The world is crazy. And we have, I just see this article right here. Right here. Look at that. Kane, that's the choice that Hillary made. How bad a choice, by the way, how bad a choice is this if you think? She's trying to get the support of Bernie Sanders, who's exhausted. By the way, Bernie, you know where Bernie is now? He's sleeping. He's exhausted. Hey, who can blame him? I mean, the guy, I was surprised though. Because in terms of legacy, there's no movement like we have. Nobody has our audiences. Nobody has our crowd. Nobody has even close. In terms of legacy, however, he would have had a far greater impact and made a deal with the devil. He got nothing for making the deal, and he got a vice presidential candidate that was against, like, most of the things that he was talking about, which is really great disrespect. That's why I actually think a lot of the Bernie Sanders people we're going to get. We're going to have the Bernie Sanders people. More than people understand, and we're going to have a tremendous Democrat crossover. We're going to have a tremendous crossover of Democrats. And we saw that in New York. We saw it in a couple of places. In New York was interesting. So I win New York in like a landslide. Isn't it nice to know, for you, like, I know the people of Iowa well, and they know me well, but the people of New York really know me, and I won in a massive landslide. Isn't that nice? When they know you and you win? I mean, you know, you ever see these guys where they know you and they lose? That's not good. So I won like in this big, beautiful landslide. But we're going to have something very special here. I think that, I don't know, there's something about it. And I don't know if you know this. I'm a big customer of John Deere, okay? Big. Millions. Sadly, I spent millions of dollars with John Deere. And it's a great company. But what happened, and I just see this, so it says Kane urges President to allow more Syrian refugees to resettle in the United States. Today, U.S. Senator Tim Kaine, a member of the Senate Foreign Relations Armed Services Committee, wants to have more, think of it, more Syrian refugees pour into the country. Now, Hillary Clinton, you won't believe this, Obama is letting them come in by the thousands. We don't know who they are, where they come from. There's no real documentation. You can't really prove it. So Obama is letting them come in by the thousands. Hillary Clinton wants 550%. You know, the press likes to correct me. So I've been saying 500% more. And they said I'm wrong. I said, oh, here we go again. I'm wrong. And they said the real number is 550%. I couldn't go. Hillary Clinton wants 550% more to come into our country. We don't know what the hell is going on. And by the way, I spoke to the governor. He's not thrilled, I want to tell you. But you know what they do? They put them all over the country. Nobody even knows where they're being put. So we don't even know what's going to happen. But all we know is we watch these people with the slashings and the throat cuttings and the cutting off of the heads and the drowning in steel cages, where they put them in steel cages and they drown. This has not happened since medieval times. You know, I loved history. And you'd read history. And you'd see medieval times, rough stuff, okay? Medieval times, where they chopped off the heads. Who ever heard of this stuff? All of a sudden, a few years ago, you saw it with a fine, wonderful young man, you know that. But all of a sudden, you see it again. And these are people, they have to be stopped. They have to be stopped. And they have to be stopped very, very strongly and very viciously if we have to. Where they said during the debate to Ted Cruz, they said, what about waterboarding? Are you okay with it? And he had a hard time with that question.
That was Chad.
No, he had a hard time. That's a tough question because, you know, for them, for me, I'm not a politician. I say like it is. And they said, and he sort of didn't want to, smart guy, he didn't want to really get into that question. Then they asked me, I said, absolutely. I wouldn't even think about it. For those people that say it doesn't work, and you know, one of the reasons waterboarding, because they used to consider it short of torture, okay? In other words, short of torture. And that way they could get away with it. All of a sudden they ruled, of course, Obama's group ruled it's torture, and you can't do it. But here's the thing. So they can chop off heads, right? They can drown people in steel cages. They can cut your throats. We can't waterboard. You know, we're playing by different rules, okay? We're playing by different rules. Now, so they asked me about it. I say, no problem. No problem. You have to do it. Because they're chopping off heads, we can't waterboard. And you can just imagine these people from ISIS. They're sitting around eating.
And they're talking about how many heads they chopped off, how many people they drowned, what animals they are, what animals. And they say, can you imagine in the United States, waterboarding, okay, waterboarding. Can you imagine? So we've got to start winning, folks. We don't win anymore. We're like the stupid people. We don't win anymore. We're being led by incompetent people. So I watched last night Obama talking about his world, the beautiful world, you know, his beautiful world. He doesn't talk about radical Islamic terrorism. He doesn't talk about the fact that people don't want to fly in airplanes and that people don't want to go to theaters. He doesn't talk about what's going on. I have a friend, he goes to France every year. Like religious, he works, he wants to go to France. He loves France, right? So I call him up, I say, how was your trip this year to France? France? I don't go to France. He said, France is no longer France. What's happening, folks, is very, very serious. And if we're not smart, and if we're not tougher than hell, we're not going to be around so much longer. Don't kid yourselves. Don't kid yourselves. I watched his speech last night, talking about false employment rates, talking about things that aren't in the real world, but not talking about crime, not talking about shooting up policemen, because our policemen and our law enforcement professionals are vital to our country, are vital. And they weren't going to have them on stage. And then I started, I shouldn't have done it, I should have waited till the fourth day, I made a mistake. I should have waited till they were finished. But I started saying, they're not showing our law enforcement. They're not showing. Well, today I think they're bringing some on stage. You know, it's like the other day, they didn't have the American flag on stage, right? Right? Think of it. They spent millions of dollars on the stage. By the way, I thought our stage in Cleveland was much more beautiful. I also like my children better than their stars. My wife and children did a great job, I'll tell you. They did a great job. They did a great job. I was very proud of them. And we had a great convention. It was an amazing period of time. And actually, I guess you saw, we got, meaning I got, meaning we got, because it's really us. I view myself, and I say it all the time, but I view myself as a messenger. A very talented messenger, but a messenger. A messenger, nevertheless. But we got one of the biggest bumps in many years. So now we're leading. We're leading in Iowa. We're leading in Florida big. We're leading in Ohio. We're leading. And a poll just came down from the Los Angeles Times. I think it's 47-40 nationwide we're leading. So look. Look, and they're going to get a bump because I watched last night. I must tell you, I shouldn't tell you this, but I watched. And I saw lies. And how would you like to be me watching television? Every one of these guys, I mean, professional politicians and others, they get up and they go crazy. I mean, we have the worst mayor in the United States, de Blasio, who's the worst mayor in the United States, like not even a contest. And he's saying, I don't even know this guy. I don't even know him. But he's a disaster, if you know what's going on. He's a disaster. I won't say it because I love New York, so I'm not going to say it. But he's knocking me. Now what happened, though, is a friend of mine called me because I was going to really hit each one of these people, some of whom I know pretty well. And they treat me so nice. Oh, Don, how are you? They give me hugs, kisses. Then they're up saying, he is a tyrant. He's a horrible human being. He's the worst thing that's ever happened. And I said, but he was hugging me. And talking to me. And I thought he loved me. In fact, a couple of them went up and I said, well, that one I like. Because there's no way that one can say anything bad about me. Oh, it was brutal. Then I had a guy get up little guy gets knocked the hell. I said, I want to hit him back so hard. I'm going to hit this guy. I'm going to hit him so hard. You have no idea. And I get a call from a friend of mine who's a governor of a big state. And a very talented guy. Great politician, but a talented guy. And I said, you know, I'm going to hit some of these guys that hit me last time. He said, Donald, don't do it. I said, what? He said, don't do it, Donald. All you do is one thing. He just said, do it. I shouldn't think so. No, but he said, you know, this is a professional politician. He's smart. He said, Donald, you have one person to beat, nobody else. And he said to me, crooked Hillary Clinton. He said to me, crooked. That name is really slick. He said, you beat crooked Hillary, don't punch down. He used the expression, don't punch down. Now, I don't know if he's right. So I said, I promise I won't say de Blasio is the worst mayor in the country. But I wanted to hit these people, and then I sat back, I said, he's probably right. What do you think? Is he right or wrong? Tell me. I know the rough guy in the back, you're saying he's wrong. No, go ahead. I don't know. We'll see, because, and you know, such lies. And my wife is sitting there, and she's watching, and she's saying, wow. And she knows some of them. And she sees how they act toward me when they see me. And she said, how can he possibly say this? So it's an incredible thing. And then I have to do after, this is why, I think we'll stay together all night, because I don't want to really go home and watch that crap, okay?